don't know what I did with my clapper.
I don't know, but we are live.
Hey, y'all. That's what we do while we waiting, honey. I be trying to find stuff. Listen, y'all know how it go. When you be like about to go live, you're like, wait, where is this? Where is that? Stuff you should have already knew. Anywho, I am Anya, and that is
Nancy. Hi.
Welcome back to another episode of Theories and Thoughts Podcast. You are here for our second episode, and we thank you. We thank you. Right, Fancy?
Yes. I'm looking for something. That's why I'm like, okay, just keep going. We appreciate you for tuning in, definitely.
If you are a first-time viewer or listener, I am the managing editor of Swagger Magazine, and she is the award-winning publisher and editor-in-chief, honey, of Swagger Magazine. Swagger Magazine is a lifestyle, cultural, empowerment, online, and print magazine. So you guys, if you don't know anything about us and you just know about theories and thoughts, get into it, okay? All righty. So we like to start off our broadcast with a little bit of news. News you can use. News that is affecting our community. And the news that is affecting our community right now is the Amber Geiger case. Okay? If I sound a little under the weather, it's because these allergies, honey, these changing in this season. However, I am located in Dallas, and this case took a precedence today. It is the first time a female officer was convicted of a crime here. It is in Dallas County, in the city of Dallas County. And I want to say they said until this year, they hadn't had an officer convicted of a crime since 1979.
Oh, wow.
Here in Dallas. Yes. What I wanted to talk about the case because I feel like it is very big here in the Dallas area, and it set a precedence in America, period. I feel like she got what she needed, what she deserved. At first, I didn't think she was gonna get murdered. I'm just gonna be honest. I didn't feel like she was gonna just get off, but I didn't think she was gonna get murdered. I thought she was gonna get manslaughter. But it was those text messages and her lying. I feel like lying, saying that she was spent, that she was so tired after working 40 hours, and that's how she made that mistake. I personally feel, Anya's opinion is that she walked up, she wasn't paying attention because she was too busy messing with that married man. Hello, somebody. She was too busy texting him, and she opened up and she seen a big black man. Now, my issue here is this. Take out being a police. I'm so sick and tired of people acting like when they see a big black man or they see somebody black, they got to get scared. We're not all out here harassing people and hurting people. Some of us are educated. Hello. And Bokum John happened to be one of those people. He was, as the news person said, damn near perfect. You know, he was heavy in his faith, and he was he worked for one of the big, large accounting firms here in Dallas, Christ Waterhouse, and he was doing what he was supposed to do in his apartment. You know, even if you're that tired and you got off the wrong floor, he had a big red mat. You know, that wasn't your mat, you know. And I just feel like she just, as an officer, bringing her back as an officer, you learn how to de-escalate things. You learn how to handle different situations. So in that, you can't act helpless. And I'm so sick of these officers with that. Oh, I thought they were going to kill me. Hold up. How many white folks, and I don't want to make it a black and white issue, but how many white people, they didn't fault y'all, and y'all didn't act like y'all was scared? Y'all was able to taser them. Y'all was able to get them to jail or what have you. So I'm happy about the verdict. She can look like you wanted to say something just now. About this.
Well, I'm just, as you're talking, I'm coming up with my point. So go ahead. Feel free.
Okay. As a As a Black woman, I'm happy about this. I'm happy about this. I'm happy that he can rest in peace. Now, the sentencing trial. She can get 5 years to life. I'm not really for the execution. That's just me. I'm just not for it. Because I'm just not for anybody just dying like that, even though he lost his life and he can't come back. I'm thinking she's not going to get less than 10 years because they're attacking her character big time in the sentencing phase. Sexing, they deleted evidence. They deleted texts out the phone. Talking about that was pictures that she sent of herself naked to her partner. You know, and then they have text messages and Snapchats about how she's like, Black officers, she kind of was like, you know, I'm not racist or nothing. Whenever you have to say that, that means you are, in my book. So I'm just really, I'm really happy for the verdict. I don't want to see nothing less than 10 years. She cannot go home. Let me repeat, she cannot go home. A lot of people were saying that. She can't go home. She can't go home even during the appeal process. She can't go home because there was a law that just passed here in Texas that you can't go home during the appeal process. Because before you could go home if it was less than 11 years. Now you can't. So that's where I stand on it.
Well, I am familiar with the case, and I am a little, I'm very shocked actually about the verdict. But I guess for me, one thing that just like really puzzled me was like, I don't know, it just doesn't make sense all the same. You know, it doesn't make sense what happened, how she ended up in his apartment. And then at the same time, I just think about like all the craziness that we see on movies and TV today now, like the reasons why oftentimes we think, oh, this was an incident, but really it was something that was planned, you know. And I know I haven't saw anything like that in the news or anything, but that's just where my mind went with things like, okay, what was the whole purpose? So when she was, you know, when they did announce the guilty verdict, I wasn't really expecting it because I just really thought that they were gonna find some type of way, you know, to like basically downplay the situation. I wasn't even thinking, whereas you said you thought that she would get manslaughter, I wasn't even thinking that she would get that, to be honest, because it just seems like we've saw it so many other times in the past few years with these police shootings that there is no justice served. So to actually see justice somewhat in this situation, then it's like, you know, it is a very different thing. And it's a lot of people talking about it. A lot of people that I saw on Twitter were surprised as well, because no one really expected that. But then at the same time, I'm like, you know, and it is justice, I suppose, but is it really justice? Because this man was sitting at home eating ice cream on the sofa. Like that could have easily been one of us one Saturday night. You know what I mean? So it's just like, it's just the craziest thing. Like it's one of those type of stories where it's almost like it's surreal. You know, how do you just say, hey, oh, hey, I happen to walk into this person's apartment and, you know, and this and that happened. But I think Texas also always has done its own thing. So I really like the fact that you included those facts about, you know, the fact that a police officer hadn't ever been sentenced or hadn't ever been indicted, or how did that work?
A female officer had never been indicted. It had never been. This is the first of its kind, female officer. And it was the first in 79 years that another officer was, a police officer in the city of Dallas, was convicted of a crime. Lately, since June, an officer was convicted of murder and sentenced, but he wasn't in the city of Dallas.
Gotcha.
He's a city of Dallas officer. So they doing things. I mean, I know a couple of activists, and I've already reached out to one, and he's willing to interview. There's something called the Dallas 9, and he's a part of that, and he's willing to come on and talk to us. So one day we'll get to talk to him about, you know, activism and things that he's done. Also, I didn't like the fact that they brought up that he smoked weed. Well, he was in his apartment. What you want?
I didn't even know they had brought that up. I hadn't saw that one. But no, I did see that about her and the guy sexting and so on. And I thought it was like Wow, that's just such a way to throw her under the bus when they said that he doesn't delete, like, what is it? He doesn't keep unimportant texts in his phone. And I was like, wow. So even when you just said that about her being the first female officer as well, it still makes me think like, okay, if this had been a man, would they have, would the verdict still be guilty? And would she still have been sentenced for murder? Like, you know what I mean? Like, would it have been different because she is a woman? It's a lot easier to throw a woman under the bus than it is a man. And I'm not by any means like trying to take her side, because really, I'm far from it. But it just still makes me think, because we live in these times now where we're really seeing the difference between how men and women are treated. So that is just one thing that I just happen to think about as well.
Right. I mean, and they were back sexing the next day. So I think that was a big part of it. No remorse.
Yeah.
No remorse. Even afterwards, they turned off the camera in the police car. Even before the case, the DA went on and did an interview, which he knew he couldn't do. They were not supposed to do that interview because there's a gag order. So it was many ways that I feel, that they were trying to throw the case. They asked for a mistrial because of that. Also, they had to stand your ground. It's called the castle. The castle.
Yeah, I saw that.
They even gave them a way out to give her that. But how can you can't stand your ground when you're not at home? Sorry, not sorry. You can't, because you weren't protecting your home. And that goes back to, if you were a trained officer, you are trained, ma'am. It's not it. Yeah, and then she even said she shot him to kill him.
Oh, she said that. Now, I didn't know that part either. But what I will also say, when you said that about the training, though, before you mentioned the training, like that they're supposed to be trained to de-escalate situations. But as we've been seeing, and I'm just kind of thinking about like even here in Baton Rouge, whereas we had the whole Alton Sterling situation going on, all of a sudden it's like, once these type of situations occur, then everybody's like, oh, well, we're not really trained for so-and-so because we don't have the proper funds for this and we don't have the proper funds for that. But that's never mentioned until it's needed as a scapegoat, So I'm just glad that they did find her guilty, because I still think about the I don't remember her name, but the officer, the woman, the woman officer that killed the guy on the side of the road. You remember that? That was like 2 to 3 years ago, and she left the police force. I'm not certain if she was asked to resign or they fired her or whatever, but like it's been in the news just this year that she got hired, with another police.
Oklahoma.
Yeah. Yeah. And so, like to see how that happened, and it was just like nobody cared, just, oh, well, yeah, that is the craziest thing to me, But so to see this and to see this outcome, I'm like, it is I guess it's a, I don't know, I almost want to say like a historical moment in a way, it's a small step, but it is a step, and I think we should appreciate that.
Because a lot of people were saying, oh, she got to get sentenced. Let's celebrate. That's the problem with life. People want, oh, let's get to the big thing. No, let's celebrate these small things. Let's give them jury. And something that I wanted to bring up also is the jury. Some of us don't register to vote. We don't want to we lie about things so we don't get on the jury. This is why it's so important for us to be on these juries, to be selected, because of situations like this. You know what I'm saying? It was a very multicultural jury, and that's important. They were trying to get the trial moved out of Dallas.
Yeah, I remember that.
They were trying to get it moved out of Dallas, and they wanted to do so many different things. But I feel like she wasn't remorseful. I mean, she tried to cry on the stand, but I don't think that that was really it. One of my friends, and he's so crazy. He's actually a kind of an activist, and he's a poet here in Dallas. He said when they sentence her, they need to show her face so we can see how she really does look when she's crying.
Oh, okay. Well, you know what too I noticed though, like, and it was, I used the photo when I shared the update from the Swagger Magazine Instagram, that we did get to see the pictures of her in the orange jumpsuit, because you know a lot of times there's like people have been pointing out the fact that when it's Black people we see all these mug shots and so on, and then and you know they actually say that that's how the media kind of works an angle oftentimes to for us to feel sympathy for whoever the defendant may be, you know. So to see her in the orange jumpsuit and the mugshot, I kind of thought that was kind of some, I'm not gonna say do justice, but also a little treat kind of threw in there as well, you know.
Yeah, and she has a second mugshot now. She got rebooked. It was released this afternoon because, like I said, she can't go home. Lil' mama ain't going home no time soon. She moved out of those apartments. She moved out of it, and they showed how the door was a little ajar or whatever. But again, you know, it was too many things, and it's a sad situation altogether.
Yeah.
Well, that's the end of our news. In our news section, we will be bringing you something that's in the news that's current, and we will be discussing it, our opinions. Whenever you know, if you see something that's in the news and you're like, no, they have to discuss this, go ahead and send it to me. So, were you surprised at the verdict? Let me know. Let us know below. Let us know below. I don't care when y'all do it. When y'all comment, whether this is a rebroadcast for you, if this is audio, or if it's right now live. Let us know in your in the comments if you was surprised about the verdict and your thoughts on our news section. Do you agree with how we feel, or do you not agree at all? You think that she should have got scot-free? You know, one of the Texas Rangers, the officers, he said that he didn't think that that it was a criminal act. A Black man. Yeah.
Wow.
That part. Anywho, our news section. What you about to say?
No, because then it just hit me. I'm like, wait, so you're saying the Ranger was Black as well? Oh, wow. Okay.
And he said that he didn't see. I'm getting my shirt ready. He didn't see, it wasn't a criminal act. He said, well, he don't see that it was a criminal. It was thrown out. That was thrown out. So the jury was not able to see it.
Wow. Okay.
So, our news segment today was brought to you by AVP Tees and Apparel. This is a fabulous tumbler that she created for my baby, for my Chloe, for her birthday. She actually did this shirt for me. I was trying to get my shirt together. It says Lady CEO. I'm rocking my tea tonight. And she's got other shirts designed to win. This is a brand that she has that God gave her. So she do a lot of different things. And she also donated this shirt to us for our PCOS Awareness Month. So if you are in need of a tumbler, t-shirt, she's working on all kinds of things, you guys. Reach out to her. She is Nikki Marshall. On Instagram, it is designed_to_win. On Facebook, it is AVP Tees and Apparel. There she is. She say, hey, Nikki. So we would like to thank you, Nikki, for being a sponsor for tonight.
All right.
I see somebody else. Sorry. I'm barely seeing the comments.
Oh, yeah. I can, I'm the one that actually make them pop up, and I'm just kind of seeing some of myself. I'm sorry. I try to post them, though, if I see them, y'all, because we do appreciate the comments. Definitely leave comments. Let us know what you're thinking as far as how the show is going, if you have any ideas or anything like that. And so the topic for today is a self-check. I'm not certain if you all saw that I went to Atlanta this weekend to cover the Purple and Green Gala, which was presented by our Children's Story. And that has been my first getaway, seeing like it from my house in some months. So I decided that I wanted to just like doing a self-check, because while I was away from my house, it made me really realize like how unhappy I've been. And I had already kind of knew that I was, kind of going through some things. I experienced some things like in business around June, and it was just like I was really beating myself up about them. And then I went like through a very dark phase, and then I started coming out of it, but I realized that I wasn't like still totally out of it. Actually, and I just noted, because I'm really big on affirmations and just like positive thinking and things like that. Initially, I told myself, I was like, I made this little affirmation. I was like, I will not be bitter about, things that have occurred or about people. Instead, I choose to use that energy and put it toward my family. And now I realize like how careful we have to be about what we say, because it's like my family is kind of driving me crazy. It's kind of driving me crazy. Like, I really love my family and kids, but I realized like it was possibly even within a week of my saying that it just seems like everything just kind of took off. Like, my son moved back home, school was starting back, and these past few weeks I have just been running. Like, my mornings start at anywhere from like 4 to 5, and they can end anywhere from like 11 to 12, my nights. So I really haven't been able to get much rest. It seems like, and all summer, the only thing I really did was sit in the house and worked and ate. And that was another thing I discovered, because when I started getting ready to pack for Atlanta, I realized, like, because I just been walking around in like some old sweatpants and t-shirts, and none of my jeans fit me. They're all too short, too tight. So I was like, I don't even have anything like to just throw on just to ride, like just to get there, whatever. So I was thinking about that, and I was just thinking about like, hey, this is the first time you've been anywhere by yourself in a really long time. This is the first time you treated yourself to anything nice. Like, this is the first time you just had like a good 10 hours to yourself, and I was just like, wow, like I didn't even realize all of this stuff, because it's so easy for us to talk about self-care and, excuse me, because my mouth is getting extremely dry. But it's so easy for us to talk about like self-care, but we talk about it, we make these posts, but are we actually practicing it? And I'm really big on like doing self-checks with myself, and just like really trying to get in touch with my feelings and see what it is that I'm feeling and why I may be feeling that way. And so that's kind of how I first got to the point where I realized I was being bitter about something and I needed to move past it. So I was performing self-checks, but I guess I wasn't digging deep enough. And it just made me realize, like we really have to take the time to do that more often, because like right now I've actually gained about 15 to 16 pounds, and it's only been like 3 months. So this really is bothering me. I'm not comfortable with it. And then at the same time, that was another thing I did while I was in Atlanta. So, because I was like, I posted on my Instagram stories that I wanted to go out and do something, but I didn't have anybody to go anywhere with. So I actually went downstairs at 3 a.m. I redid my makeup and recreated my whole little look with my dress and everything. And I took pictures of myself, because I really didn't get to get any pictures at the gala. But I also did like my own little boudoir. Is that how you say it? Boudoir?
Sure.
Okay. Yeah. So I did me a little photo shoot in my room, because I've been practicing with my camera, and
boudoir.
It just is it. I don't know. Look, y'all. Boudoir. Hey, Veronica, I did get your text, honey. I got your text the other day. I just have been so busy. I hadn't had time to respond to it, but I was looking at the date, so I will get back to you. But as I was saying, so y'all know what? See, this is what I'm saying. I've announced to everybody that the podcast is tonight, but why my son beating on the back door? So I'm gonna disconnect my camera for. Okay, my assistant, my / daughter, has it for me. So thank you, ma'am.
Edit that out.
This is what I'm saying. Like, this self-care is it's a lot. And I'm still like, I realized, and we talked about, we said we're going to do a discussion about just all the different roles that we play, but it's still so many more roles. It's still so much that goes into it. And I'm still trying to figure out a way through everything. But for that reason, I wanted to share these tips for like actually performing a self-care. Oh, wait, I'm sorry, Anya. Did you have anything before I share my tips? They threw me off, y'all.
First of all, our podcast is real life, y'all. That's one of the things that we wanted to bring to you guys. This is real life. I've been messed up with my voice, y'all. I didn't have a voice yesterday. So I'm doing better. This is real life. She's a working mom and running business. I'm over here doing business. This is life. So if we can't bring anything else to you, we bring it authentic. Authentic, definitely. Two aspiring Black women who are out here in society, and we just want to bring conversations to you. That's why we say join the conversation. Don't just sit back there. Send us text. I mean, not text. Send us comments. Tell us, yeah, girl, I agree. Or, girl, don't you hate when that happened? Things like that. So I wanted to say that. Hey, Veronica. I see she said breathe. That's actually something coming up. As a self-check, I think that I don't think that I perform self-checks. I try to, well, we're going to talk about self-care in a minute. I do self-care, but I don't do self-checks. And maybe if I did self-checks, I would catch it faster and do self-care a little bit faster. Because I know one of the things that I put for self-care, and I know we'll get to it, is rest. I feel like that was something that was going on. And that's why my body was like, these allergies going to take you under, but you need to rest. You need to sit down somewhere. So I think that's important. Self-checks are very, very, very important. I never thought about it that way. But yes, self-checks are very, 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 very important.
Yeah, I'm really big on, like, the whole healing myself sort of thing. Although, I forgot to tell y'all though. I mean, and I know some people are probably like, I would not share this or whatever. At least people in my family anyway have been like, because I tried asking this. Well, I tried sharing about this in our little family group on Facebook. But I am actually starting therapy tomorrow. So like I'm really excited about it because like I told her on the phone, I was like, well, I'm looking forward to speaking to you. And she bust out laughing, but I was like, I am, like I know that I need this. So I'm unashamed about, going to get it done. So that is another way that I feel like, you can practice self-care as well, like by actually going to therapy. I know that we've been talking more about therapy. So I want to see what all the fuss is about. And I'm going to be like trying to share, I guess, whatever I can about it. But I'm trying to remove this comment now. And I got kind of stuck. Like, and see, that's the reason though, too, while I have to do the self-checks the way I do them, because I have control issues and I like to have everything a certain way. I'm perfectionist, or because I'll be sending them back emails and so on. Like, can you do something? But that's just kind of me. Like, even when I went to Atlanta, I made certain that I made it a day early so that I could have a day just to kind of sit and adapt to my environment. Because, like, for me, environment is everything. I can't just like go into situations the way a lot of people can. And I had to learn that about myself. So that's the reason why I'm like always doing that self-work and just really learning new things about myself and what works for me and what doesn't work for me. And just another note, I realized throughout that time as well, like throughout I went through the summer, like it made me realize again that I'm not like most people, and a lot of people say, oh, I'm not like everybody else. And we aren't. No one is exactly the same. But I realized that's not necessarily a bad thing. And oftentimes I'll be thinking, oh, well, if only you could. And then I'm like, hey, you know what? It's actually good that I'm like this. And as long as I know who I am and how things can bother or affect me, then that really, allows me to be able to do other things as well. Like it allows me to move forward more confidently as well as more prepared, So yeah. And now for the tips that I was trying to share with you all, because I wanted it to be like, I could have gave you all some tips, but at the same time, I was like, no, let me find somebody else, just to see what someone else would say, because we may do things differently. So I actually really like these tips. So these are some tips to perform a self-care check-in. Tip number 1, start your day with meditation. I am actually trying to get in a consistent habit of meditation because I really think that my mornings are so sacred to me. Like that is one thing I really hold very dear, like to myself. I don't know. I just love the mornings. I'm more productive in the mornings. So sometimes though, I can't do meditation because I've already started working. Like, as soon as my daughter got on the bus, I'm already sitting at the so I might forget, but I'm trying to get more in the habit of it. But, I'd love to know if you all, if you all do meditations. And I'm also trying to find like more groups and things like that that I can go and take part in the meditation with the group. But meditation, I think, is very important because once you can actually see, especially like when you're doing visualization, once you can actually see where it is that you're trying to go, it makes like everything, like, I don't know, when I remember the first time I really saw myself successful, and like shortly after that, it was just like my thought process really changed. And when I'm having all of this other stuff going on and I'm not taking care of myself as well, I'll forget, like how I remembered those things. I'm not as strategic as I would normally be. So meditation is really good. Another one is to ask yourself 3 questions when you wake up. So these are the 3 questions. I'm moving kind of slow with the crawlers. My apologies. But the first question is, am I feeling purposeful? Even throughout everything that I was going through, I always knew that I had a purpose. I guess because a part of that is because I find solace in saying that everything that happens to me is for a purpose. Like, it has to have some sort of meaning. So I didn't have a problem with that one. Am I happy? I asked myself this several times, and I'm still kind of getting to know, but I'm getting happier though. I am in a much lighter mood than what I had been in before. But I think it is good that we ask ourselves that at times, and then you also have to know what happy means for you, because you can't just think your happiness is supposed to look like the person on IG that you follow happiness as well. You have to really know what's of importance to you.
Exactly.
And then keep a journal. I have a gratitude journal, and then I have like my affirmations as well. And I think it's a really awesome, like, it's just like mind blowing when you can actually look back in your journal